Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wild, wacky world of ours. Welcome to the exciting installment of Darkness in Dublin. This evening's scene will be set in the winding, wending streets of Temple Bar, located just next to the River Liffey. Temple Bar is that alternative place with cobblestone streets and winding back alleys. For many of them, it is the place where during the day the hipsters go and the goth kids sit beneath the spread awnings. It's a pleasant place. At night, it becomes the center of the city's nightlife with some of the most important gay bars, fetish clubs, and other rather sordid little entrances to the city's mythology located on its cobblestone streets, including, well, Carpe Infernum is a very well known and frequented bar and club located at the city's heart. It is denoted via a single neon sign that just leads to a staircase pointing down into the bowels of the earth, the outside of which there is a single man standing very calmly. He looks to be about 6'5". He's got pale skin that almost runs to white, and he holds a clipboard in his hands. Stephanos, you will be the first to walk towards him. Stephanos, what sights do you have active?
Prime and Spirit.
That is a corpse being ridden by a spirit.
That is a what?
It is a corpse being ridden by a spirit.
Aha. Is it talking, though?
It is.
He'll just kind of look at it, nod.
No, as in the person will speak, but you can tell it's the spirit moving the...
Oh, okay. Okay.
Muscles.
Misunderstood.
No worries. Name?
Stephanos Agiris.
Do you have an appointment?
No.
I see. Interesting. You'll see him touch something in his ear, and you'll hear him whisper something. You may go on down, Mr. Stephanos. Welcome to hell.
Shudders just a little at that, mostly because of the intonation. He's just like, thank you, and heads down.
All right. Malfi, you are next. Walk on up, boy. Walk on.
I have Spirit and Mind Sight open.
Okay. Once again, Spirit, this is a corpse. There is a soul that is piloting the corpse.
Interesting. Okay. Walk up.
Name?
Is it appropriate for me to have my mask on, or is it off in my pocket?
I mean, do you want to walk down the dark streets of Dublin with a mask on? Are you sure you want to do that?
Common sense.
I'm good. Then in that case, I'll have Arcane active as well.
You know that if you have Arcane, no one will remember you in the conversation after it's had.
Yeah, you don't want to usually activate that for this kind of thing.
Huh?
Not unless you don't want to activate Arcane unless your intent is to observe and have no one remember you afterwards. If you're trying to do something important, talk to NPCs, bad idea, because they'll be like, I don't remember that conversation.
I'm just having Arcane active while I'm walking up to the guy, and then because that way I can walk through the alley streets being slightly unnoticed, and then when I get up to the guy who has the paper, I'll turn off Arcane.
That sounds possible. You can suppress Arcane, can't you?
We run the system that once you turn it on, it's on until the end of the scene.
Oh, then never mind then.
Okay.
All right, then never mind. Anyways, go on.
He'll say, name.
Malthiel.
The fuck kind of name is that?
Afraid it's given by a woman who I have barely any memory of.
I see. One moment, sir. You'll hear him talk on his little microphone, and he'll say, go on down, sir. Welcome to hell.
And proceed on.
All right. Ooh, we have a Collins.
Is this a public and open thing?
Oh yes, bring the rest of Team Pagan. Hilarity will ensue.
Okay, hold on.
Low-key, please don't.
I thought this was a smaller scene.
That's
see it posted.
Yeah, I would honestly prefer it to be a smaller scene. It would be a whole lot easier on me, especially to get this done without having to worry about others.
Collins, you can. No, Collins, you can stay. I want you to stay. I actually want you to stay.
Just please don't invite 8 people.
That wasn't the plan, but if you want to leave, Collins, you can. I just plan to throw something at you for funsies.
That's fine. They would like a small scene. We will acquiesce. Have fun. Toodles.
Okay.
I didn't mean to shoo him away, but like, I'm not good with big scenes right now, especially with the people who don't want to get along with me in a thing that I'm just trying to, ease my way to.
It's all in character, man. It's okay.
Well, actually, that is the very antithesis of not being in character. But
shit! 620 and 49 cents.
All right. It's cool.
Might want to meet yourself.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point of loud.
Sorry,
Kyler. There you go.
Thank you. As you descend to the bottom of the stairs, boys and girls, I finally found a picture I like for Carpe Infernum. You will be struck by this image. It's pretty, isn't it? It is hopping down here tonight. There are dozens of people cavorting around, dancing as the heavy has something heavy plays. Probably something like Rammstein is playing. On a side note, Stephanos, you'll see a Malphael emerge into the half light of the club. Behind you.
He's going to blink slightly, and if he's noticed, he'll nod. But he's here on business, so
I'll nod back.
All right. What do you do? You're in the club.
I'm going to look around and just see with all my sights on, seeing what I can see, admiring the beauty and the architecture of the club.
it does look like a fairly swanky club. Is it relatively high class or married or mixed?
It's very high class, but the people here might necessarily be. Also, the drinks are ridiculously cheap.
Oh, surprising.
You assume Mr. Gravedigger, you assume he doesn't really need the money.
That's entirely fair. He's going to look around briefly, and he's obviously like a little bit out of his element here, but he's trying to see where Gravedigger might be. He'll probably head to the bar if he doesn't see him anywhere else.
You will see that there is a large built-up area at the end of the dance floor that has a circular couch. The circular couch kind of hugs the wall and comes out into a prong, almost like a U, with the table in the center. Seated at the table, you will see Mr. Gravedigger he's kind of looking out nonchalantly at the dance floor. There are 2 ladies on either side of him, and another gentleman standing in front of the area where there's a velvet rope.
He'll start heading in that direction.
And I will follow him.
My. How very good to see you again, Mr. Argyris.
He'll nod respectfully.
Can I offer you a drink, perhaps?
Tea or water, possibly?
Don't you imbibe alcohol?
Not often. I do apologize.
It's fine. See to his tea, Siegfried. The man will nod and he'll start walking towards the bar. Come on up and sit down. Lersa, Canaran, budge up. Let my dear Stefan sit down, or Stephanos sit down, won't you?
For a second, I thought you were going to say he like pats his lap or something. I was going to be like, oh, this is going to get 10 times more awkward.
By the way, guys, as you approach, it becomes obvious. Once again, those two girls are very obviously dead.
Are their bodies in good condition?
Gotcha.
Yes.
He's not like letting corpses that look like obviously dead people roam around here.
Correct. That would be breaking certain rules that even he doesn't break.
I mean, well, it could be interpreted as part of the theme of the club and considered like makeover body.
Well, no, because then it would destroy basically here, even here, the consensus holds sway. So if there's a walking corpse, it would still defy the consensus and would degenerate nearly immediately due to paradox.
Yeah, it'd be different if it was like part of a floor show where people expect to see something impossible or something. That'd be different. But just casually walking around, no, people will notice. Okay. He'll take a seat.
So, now then, sweetheart, what can I do for you?
He's like, since the people with him are obviously their corpses ridden by spirits, so there's no sleepers nearby, presumably, right?
No. Also, none of you have prime sight, don't you?
Yes.
Yep. You walked through a very, very thin sheen of prime energy to walk up here.
Probably a ward?
You'd assume so.
Okay. I wish I had core sight active, but oh well. Anyways, he's going to look. He's going to take a moment. Like, he's obviously like just considering his words carefully. And he says, "There's a piece of business I'm curious as to." Like he starts to talk like he's tried to be delicate, and he's just like, "There's something I would like to buy from you, a service."
My. My ears are plucked and ready.
I know Daniela, and I was on the, as you know, I mean, you put me through the portal with a bunch of other people. I was on the Leviathan mission, but thank you for your help in that, by the way.
I was well compensated. No, I will point out the saving you all at the last moment I threw in for free.
That's what I was referring to. I understood that was not required, but it was apparently very impressive and much needed. Daniela's parents.
Oh, I see you enjoy my accessories, he'll say, showing the earrings.
The price of a soul is not something easily quantified to me, but, and to be honest, I am well aware that if I had those pieces of jewelry, I would not have a way to restore them into physical form.
Oh, sweetheart, I think you've drastically misunderstood. The physical forms exist. It's just that they're not at home at the moment.
They are?
Oh, yeah.
Or, I thought that they were dead, so I assumed their souls. Okay.
No. The Mechno-Technos ripped their souls out and put them in the ephemera core. They then put something else inside them.
And their bodies. And their bodies are still intact and effectively open for.
Correct. Would you like a prize?
Perhaps in the form of an additional question. What can I offer you that would be sufficient payment for you to either relinquish or loan indefinitely those souls to be put back in their proper body and allowed to reunite with Daniela?
Little Miss makes really inappropriate deals. Asked me that the other
day. He looks puzzled for a minute, like he's not putting it together.
Yuki, my dear, Yuki.
And since you are still wearing them, I am guessing that you told her no, or she was not able to meet your price.
Well, I haven't actually thought of a price I want for these beauties. Tell me, what do you think they're worth?
That depends on the person who's buying. For Daniela, I would assume anything. For me, I cannot say everything. There are things I cannot sell, but he's thinking, like he's trying to think honestly, what would Gravedigger want? He looks around and just says, you do not need money, and I do not have enough that it could be tempting. You have far more knowledge than I do, more power. I cannot sell the secrets of the Order, even if I knew any. But
there is one thing that you could do for me.
And what would that be?
You're a member of the Order of Hermes.
Yes.
Right. Beg.
Wait, what do you say? Sorry?
Beg.
He just looks at you slightly. And it's like processing for a second, and he just goes, what did the Order do to you? Or is that... No, that's probably a very expensive question. I take that back.
Sweetheart, in all honesty, what's the price of a hermetic begging? Well, now that, for those who claim to be so high and mighty, is worth... Whew. That's worth something.
I have my pride, but I am barely even ranked among them. If my groveling brought back 2 people who are precious to a friend of mine, I would do it right now, on my knees.
Well, you have the knees. I have the space.
Do we have a bargain? He's not dumb.
Because I'm in a charitable mood. I'm feeling generous. You groveling for my memory, something to soothe me on those long, cold nights, will buy you 1.
Sorry, he said that will buy him 1, as in like one of the souls?
Mm-hmm. One of the 2.
Restored to their body and all.
That's, well, I'd have to go to the body in order to, well, no, actually I suppose I could do it from here. Yeah, you know what, why not? It's worth the price.
To save someone's life? Certainly. Like, there's no question. He's just like, yes. Like, that's not even... This isn't even math. This is like putting a boulder on one side of a scale and then dropping a feather on the other. It's like, that's not even something you would measure against this to him. He honestly seems a little bit confused. Like, he's like, this means that much to you. That's the expression he's got. Like, okay.
You get the impression he loathes the Order.
Which is why he's like, what did they do to you? He's like, Jesus, like, I'm barely a member. He's just like, well, then, all right. He extends his hand because, you know, his way of doing business.
Up, up, up. First your words, then your reward. I've given you my word, after all, and that's me bond.
Then I trust you on that. And he'll get down on his knees, and he doesn't care if anyone in the club or anyone else can see this. And I'm assuming since Kyler followed, he can probably see him from the bottom of the dais.
Mm-hmm.
He just gets down on his knees, and it's not like kowtowing so much, but he does actually press his forehead to the floor and just says, please.
And Malthael is blushing at this.
And he is earnest.
Gravedigger reaches up, and you'll see the earring consists of a small chain that kind of dangles from his earlobe. He'll click his fingers and hold out his hand. The chain turns to dust, and the little gem just plops into his hand. And he'll hold it up, and he'll look at it in the light and say, I guess that means you get the father. I take it that that's fine with you.
He just nods, like he has no authority to choose which one she would want. That's an impossible choice. He's just going to take whichever one you've decided.
I actually just rolled whether he picked left or right, and it went with
That's
left,
fair.
which is what the father was.
That's fair.
Fine. All right, then. By midnight tonight, the man will be returned to where he was. Not only that, but I'll meld the memories together, so he will remember everything that's happened to the other part they put in him, and he won't remember anything else. So it'll be nice and seamless like, and I'll throw that in for free.
He looks confused. He's like, would that be a risk for secrecy and such? Wouldn't that like he's not challenging you? He's just like, wait a minute.
No. As in, I'll edit out bits and pieces, of course. Bloody hell.
I apologize. That would be most appreciated. And he's looking like he's not like he's gonna start getting back up if you haven't told him to keep going.
Yeah, no, he'll kind of motion for you to sit down. Your tea is brought out at this point.
And he's gonna sip it. He doesn't seem embarrassed by this. He's more confused, like, Jesus, how much do you hate the order?
Malthael is just really blushing at what he's just seen.
Now then, what do you want? He won't, like, he will look at Malthael for a moment before his eyes will flick back to the drink that he's sipping.
So he is talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I've actually come here to inquire about the Hollow Ones once more, but this time in a more tasteful manner.
Did I not make it? He looks at Stephanos and he says, did I not make it abundantly clear that this was a path of self-realization, that my telling him about it would cheapen the entire experience?
Not exactly what I meant, Mr. Gravedigger.
Was I talking to you?
I am not the most subtle of persons, but I did not understand that from what you said. But he looks kind of nervously over at Malthael and says, "This may not be the best time. Perhaps perhaps you could do a little research of your own before coming here and speaking to him about it. That would at the very least."
That's not fair. Gravedigger smiles. Stephanos, you've seen this smile before. He had a very similar smile when he made this deal with Daniela.
Oh, Christ.
So, you want to understand... So, you want to understand the Hollow Ones, do you?
I actually have done some studies. I did read up on a more or less tradition book that I borrowed.
So, but you want to understand what it is to be a Hollow One, yes?
More or less. I want a little bit more information, perhaps from a member itself. And seeing how you're the only one that I could find, I might as well indulge you.
What? Indulge me? That I'm it is an indulgence for me to lead the lost to the promised land, is it? So his shadow has grown by about a factor of 2.
Oh shit! He's just looking like I can't interfere, but god damn it, he's just looking. He's just looking like, oh god, what am I going to witness?
I am trying my best here.
Select your words carefully. So, rightio then. Malthael. A demon name. An interesting curse to have at birth. Wouldn't you agree?
Is that directed at Stephanos?
No, it's directed at Malthael. Rather pointedly.
Just making sure.
Yes, quite. I have received a few issues with it.
Yeah. Interesting. Right. Fine. I'll ask you a question. And if you can answer me honestly, you can ask any question of me within my power to answer, including, but not limited to, what it is to be hollow. I'll answer honestly. Are you ready?
Yes.
When was the last time you looked at death and thought that there was the divine comedy played out before your eyes, the waltz between the living and the dead, the end, the beginning?
Does it sound like he's reading this like from essentially? Does this sound like a repeated phrase or something he's come up with on the fly?
It's very difficult to tell because he didn't break it all. It's very possible he's quoting it from memory, but you're not entirely sure.
Okay.
The last time I've seen, well, come face to face with death in that sort of manner would probably be when I was 19 with my stepmother, who had in the past 13 years taught me all I know today. She came up with one final task before she set me free and letting me off on my own. She asked me to kill her for some reason. And in a way, I thought it was a little bit as if this was a poem written by Edgar Allan Poe. And I sat there, but I didn't think about it too much. I did what I was told. And, well, I executed what she asked me to do. And after, I thought back on it a bit. And it struck me as odd why she would have wanted this, but I knew it's what she would have wanted. And that was the day I gained my independence.
You killed the person who raised you because they told you to.
Yes, quite.
Stephanos, the wall behind you starts to crack.
Blink, blink. He's not moving. Very still.
So, even in that one moment, even at the moment of your freedom, you were a slave.
But yes, isn't that the paradox of life, though? Even whenever we think we have our freedom and we have our independence, aren't we always a slave to something? Isn't that the...
The table in front of you shatters, literally into splinters. So, he stands up, and the shadow just roils around you guys. Everyone on the dance floor seems entirely oblivious to this. You think that we're all slaves, do you?
I never said that. I said humans. Not everyone. Some people have managed to break out of the slavery. Some people have managed to unchain. And that's kind of what I'm seeking. I don't wish to be enslaved. I don't wish to be told what to do. But at my moment of weakness, yes, I was.
Stephanos.
Yes?
He looks at you with his eyes are now glowing a baleful green. Remove this person. And you, Malthael, next time I see you, I'll send you screaming to hell. Get out.
If that is what you request.
He's going to get up and push you ahead of him before you get killed.
As you see this, by the way, guys, you'll notice that stepping out of the walls, those of you with spirit sight, there were dozens of individuals with chains affixed around their necks. All spirits just looking at you with cold, pale, hungry eyes.
And he's not going to stop pushing you until you're out of the entire club.
Yeah, I'm just getting pushed out of the club.
Okay. Both of you are now standing on the sidewalk.
Yeah. Well, I can't say that I didn't try. All I can say is I answered his questions honestly.
Yes, but perhaps he didn't like the character that revealed.
Hey, he might not have, but that was the risk I was willing to take.
Well, risk taken, you're not dead. I'd recommend never, ever, ever coming here again. In fact, you probably shouldn't be standing here. You should keep walking.
Yes, unfortunately so.
And he's just going to, look around and say, I'll get you a basic book on the traditions, but you will need to find your own teacher, I'm afraid.
Yes.
I am a little too occupied at present to be able to do any legwork to find you one.
That is fair. Ooh, can I do something? Here, let me do something real quick. As we're walking out of the club and he's kind of pushing me out, I'm going to leave a business card with the...
Your character has already left the building.
I know, but the guy who is, what do they call him? The bouncer? Yeah, with the bouncer guy with the checkbook, or the little checklist. I'm just going to leave a business card. On the back of it, it just says, if you ever need to find the will to talk to me, or if you ever need anything.
Stefanos is going to grab it and rip it to shreds.
Hey, it doesn't hurt to ask to give anybody options. You never know if he might need services later.
He said if he saw you again, he. Do you think he was exaggerating?
He said saw, but he never said contact.
That is not a distinction he will care about. You should never contact him again.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I leave.
Stefanos is actually going to, unless you got to go, Evan. You have to go?
Not particularly.
He's going to make sure that Malthael has, gotten on his feet and on his way, and then he's going to stop and just say, I will make sure to drop the book off with you later. It's at my forge. And at that point, he's going to turn back around and head for the club. And he's going to look at the bouncer. Does the bouncer seem active, or does it seem like his attention is kind of directed elsewhere at the moment?
The bouncer was staring death at the back of Malthael, like.
But now that Malthael's out of sight, is he back to normal behavior?
He's back to normal behavior.
Okay. He's going to she's going to look at him and be like, do you think it might be a good idea for me to come back another night then? I think
Mr.
he may be in a bad mood.
Said he would do what you asked him to do. He'll do it.
Oh no, not about that. I believe him. That's not the issue. I just feel awkward leaving under. But I will.
You don't know, do you?
Likely not. What did I miss?
He kind of looks around. He looks to the side, looks to the other side, and he leans in very close to you. And he says, Mr. Gravedigger had to kill his father when his father tried to kill his mother. Way back when you first woke up.
Oh.
So blasé a statement about slavery and being so casual about taking the lives of those who raised you, well, that's a giant nerve, that is.
I can understand that. Hey, I will probably return here at some point. It's not usually my cup of tea, but I may have other business with your, Would you prefer the term employer?
He shrugs. I work here, don't I?
That is fair. All right. What is your name, by the way?
Derek.
Nice to meet you, Derek.
It is agreeable to meet you officially, Mr. Argyris.
He'll nod. Say, well, good night to you. And he'll head off. Like, he was considering going back inside, but he's like, you know what? Gravedigger might not be good company right now.
On that note, thank you players for playing. Thank you watchers for watching. This has been another Scene in Darkness in Dublin.